Hashtag reflections triggered by reading the China anti-cult website. Xia Feng. The article The Evil Home published by the China anti-cult website is a slanderous attack against Lifechanyuan. Its 25 accusations are entirely fabricated distortions that completely disregard the facts, and this has filled me with indignation. Over the past 2 days, I have been reflecting on how we should respond to the slander and challenge from the China anti-cult website. One option would be to pursue legal action, another would be to repay others in their own coin. If they label the second home the evil home, then I could in turn characterize them as a poisonous plant in the garden of Chinese culture. A short while ago, I visited the China anti-cult website again and searched online to learn about its background. To my surprise, I discovered that the China anti-cult website is operated by the Chinese government, particularly under the auspices of the Ministry of Public Security. I had previously assumed that it was merely a platform where certain people in academic circles expressed their political positions, but that assumption was mistaken. This realization made me break out in a cold sweat. To oppose the China anti-cult website would, in effect, mean opposing the Chinese government. Yet opposing the government is contrary to the principles of Lifechanyuan. The principles of Lifechanyuan clearly teach us, do not confront the government. I reread the articles concerning Lifechanyuan published on the China anti-cult website, especially the one entitled Claiming to be a Messenger of God, Advocating Sexual Freedom, Gathering Members into Communal Living. The illegal organization Lifechanyuan has been banned according to law. It prompted deep reflection. I tried to examine the issue from the government's perspective and realized that although the conclusions in the article differ greatly from the actual facts, they are not entirely without reason. Several quotations cited in the article do indeed come from my own writings, they were not fabricated. For example, I am the messenger of the greatest creator, the incarnation of Jesus, Shakyamuni, Muhammad, and Laozi. I have come into the human world to harvest the crops and to usher in the 1,000-year era of Lifechanyuan. You must leave behind marriage and family. Marriage and family will pull you toward hell rather than lead you to heaven. Every member must become completely free of possessions, retaining no private property or personal belongings whatsoever, and must eradicate selfishness completely. All who seek spiritual cultivation have a chance to enter the kingdom of the greatest creator only by doing exactly as I instruct. Otherwise, the gate of the kingdom of the greatest creator will not be open to them. Without an understanding of the complete theoretical framework of Lifechanyuan and the production and lifestyle practiced in the second home, these quotations alone could reasonably lead people to conclude that suppressing Lifechanyuan has justification. Anyone raised within traditional society and culture could easily conclude from these statements alone that Lifechanyuan is evil and illegal. Such a reaction is entirely understandable. The article on the China anti-cult website also quoted another sentence. When you have 100 lovers, you cannot help but become a celestial being. This is the title of one of my articles. Judging solely by the title, it is understandable that readers would feel offended or criticize it, because such an idea appears completely contrary to the traditional moral values that people have honored for thousands of years. It is naturally difficult to accept. Only after reading the entire article, and only by those whose intuitive spiritual awareness has awakened, can one understand what I was truly expressing and advocating. They will recognize that the central point of the article is to demonstrate, through reasoning and examples, that only when a person's quality of life is truly elevated, or, as we often say, when one's garden of the soul has become beautiful, can one properly cultivate and maintain harmonious relationships with others. The article's essential message is not to encourage people to seek 100 lovers. The theories of Lifechanyuan and the production and lifestyle practiced in the second home are, at the very least, several decades ahead of what the general public today is prepared to understand or accept. It is therefore entirely understandable that they would arouse governmental vigilance and be misunderstood by the public. Lifechanyuan does not confront the government. Yet I have realized that we have gradually been moving in a direction that tends toward confrontation with the government. This has led me to reflect. Why have I come to spend so much of my time and energy responding to attacks from the outside? Why have I gradually become entangled once again in the procedures and quagmire of Civilization 2.0? I once wrote an article entitled The Hu Jintao era was the best era in the history of the Chinese nation. After President Xi Jinping declared, The people's aspiration for a better life is our goal. This statement was made on November 15, 2012, when General Secretary Xi Jinping met with Chinese and foreign journalists as the representative of the newly elected central leadership. Because of this statement, I told all Chanyuan Celestials. President Xi possesses the thinking and compassion of a sage. However, as Lifechanyuan has continually suffered suppression by the government, especially since the cross-provincial arrests of Chanyuan Celestials initiated by the Linzhou Municipal Public Security Bureau on July 2, 2025, I have been pushed step by step toward the path of resistance. This is what the Chinese expressions mean by forcing an honest person into wrongdoing, driving someone to Liangshan, and when officials oppress the people are left with no choice but to resist. In truth, neither the government nor Lifechanyuan should have reached this point. If, at the beginning, the government had sent open-minded officials to communicate with us sincerely and in depth, and together we had sought a harmonious path forward, how wonderful that would have been. Now, what should we do? Property worth tens of millions of yuan has been destroyed. Several Chanyuan Celestials remain in detention. What should we do? Lifechanyuan has several principles that provide guidance. There is nothing wrong with this world. If there is any fault, the fault lies within oneself. There is not a single soul in the world that has been wronged. To journey toward the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, the Elysium world, and the Celestial Islands continent requires paying a price. My suggestion is this. Safeguarding citizens' lawful rights through legal means is entirely proper and should continue. However, once we discover that our words or actions show any tendency toward confrontation with the government, we must resolutely stop. Being misunderstood is a common part of life. Such misunderstandings require time to be resolved. Therefore, we will no longer pursue the China Anti-Cult website over its misunderstanding of and attacks upon Lifechanyuan. Let us continue to place our faith in the greatest creator, trust in the justice and arrangements of the way, and keep striving toward the highest realms of human life and life. July 2, 2026.